Where am I? How did I arrive? I have asked these questions many times since I awoke on this foreign shore, but I must stop. They do not matter. Their answers will not save me, so I will focus on a different question. How can I survive? This question always has an answer, though it is ever-changing, and it has helped me find resolve in moments of uncertainty or fear. Just days ago, I thought I'd never fear again. I thought my fear died with the yellow turbans. Yet when I see a great lizard turn its eyes on me, I know fear is exactly what I feel. I am armed and clothed now, though crudely. My stone spearhead makes me long for my village weaponsmith, but it serves. I use it to hunt the slow, fat birds that wander the coast. I do not know how such creatures survive here at all, but I am grateful for the meat they provide. I save my arrows for the more dangerous creatures, like the lizard with ears like fans, whose spit burns the thing it touches. No, not just the creatures. They are not the only danger. Yesterday, I found footprints in the sand that were not my own. I am not alone. Defending my hometown during the uprising taught me more in months than I learned in all the years before it. Among those lessons, men will always underestimate women in battle, and humans can be crueler than any animal. Both apply today. The footprints I found were not from one man, but three. Their eyes changed when they saw me, like wolves discovering a lamb. They were wrong. They were merely mutts. I was the wolf. Two died to arrows after ignoring my warnings, the last to my spear. I left their bodies out in the wild. I cannot stay here. The beaches are too open. To survive, I must brave the jungle. Today, I scored a great victory. As the sun set, I happened upon a small village on a bluff. Unfortunately, it was besieged by a man who rode a lizard like a horse and wielded a stick that spat fire. It would have been safer to retreat, but I could not ignore the bodies. This was a slaughter. Surprise can be a warrior's most powerful weapon, and I wielded it effectively. My first arrow found the lizard's throat, and many more pierced the man's back once he tumbled from the saddle. He never even saw his vanquisher. In hindsight, I should have spared the beast. A mount would be welcomed. The surviving villagers let me claim the lizard rider's armor and weapons. It gave me shelter for the night. To my surprise, I understood them. Their mouths moved strangely, but in my ears, I heard the language of my home. They say it is the work of the metal object in my wrist. I do not understand, but they had no reason to lie. That night, I dreamt of the uprising, but this time, I was Lieutenant Guan, lifting the siege on my village in a single gallant charge. Yet when I awoke, I was just Mei-Yin, and the villagers were gone. I am a stranger to them. My heart feels heavier for their loss. I must carry on alone. The villagers had made taming beasts sound simple, but my first attempt was nearly my last. My prey was the same kind of two-legged lizard as a raider's steed, what the villagers called a raptor, but this one was strong. Even as my toxin-laced arrows knocked him out, he was able to make one final lunge from my arm. He nearly took it. Carefully, I fed him scraps of meat as he rested, and when he finally woke, I kept my weapon trained on him. Only when I was sure that he was docile did I notice his appearance. All black, save his white shins and feet. Right then, I named him Wazui, and while I do not believe in fate, I felt that this beast would carry me home. The raptors are improving. They know to follow Wazui, and Wazui knows to listen to me. Beasts without riders cannot maintain a formation, but they at least run close together. In time, they have even learned how to attack and retreat at my signal during our hunts on the plains. Together, Wazui and his 5 brothers are like a light cavalry unit, and I am their commander. Unfortunately, they are all I really have. I am not much of a craftsman, and I have very few possessions. Not everyone here is like me, though. There may be some who can craft, but cannot fight. Perhaps we can trade. The defense went spectacularly. Like many tribes, the Red Hawks relied entirely on brute force. They thought of only charging in with their beasts and their guns with no regard for their surroundings. They never expected a sortie, much less one that would come from their exposed flank. Our victory was so complete that my benefactors not only rewarded me with the weapons and supplies they promised, but extra pack animals to carry them. With each battle, my skills improve and my ranks swell. If only with beasts. I don't mind that. The people that I care about are back home. Until I return, Uzui is enough company. I was told this escort mission would be dangerous, but I had not expected to fight a legitimate army. Fortunately, I was riding ahead of the main column and spotted them first. After signaling for the convoy to change course, I harassed the enemy from their flanks to draw their attention, then retreated in a different direction. Even that cost me. Many of Wazui's brothers were injured and some were even killed. Previously, my enemies fought here like wild animals or scattered when attacked, but these men had discipline. The leader of the convoy was very grateful. Apparently, few survive an encounter with this new legion. I should be wary of them in the future. Am I a mercenary now? I had not given it much thought until I was actually called one. I don't like the title. Mercenaries fight for riches, but I'm just fighting for what I need to survive. That's different, isn't it? When I fought back home, I know who and what I was fighting for. I know who my enemies were. Here I cannot tell. I am trying to be honorable by defending people and not attacking them. But how can I be certain? I cannot dwell on it. To survive, I must fight on. To return home, I must fight on. I've started to tame larger creatures. The speed of my cavalry unit was beneficial, but I realized that it was not enough. 100 swift strikes means nothing if there's no strength behind them. To survive enemies like the New Legion, I must be able to strike with power. I began with the ones that look like larger raptors, but with horns on their foreheads. They balance strength and speed well, and will serve well as the core of my forces. When I have enough horn raptors, I will add some of the giants. Maybe then, I'll finally have the strength to find a way home. I'm living on an island. Worse, a cursed island. When I managed to tame a great spine lizard and a giant raptor, I left the jungle to find a way out of these treacherous lands. But I soon found myself traveling in circles. Worse still, I'm told that a magical barrier prevents ships from sailing too far from the shore, and birds from flying too high to leave the island. It was never a matter of strength. There is no path home at all. Wazui seems to sense my unease. These days, I often wake to find them nestled beside me. At least I am not trapped here alone. I laughed for the first time in weeks today. A man from a small tribe of fishermen sought to hire me, but he didn't call me by my name. He called me Beast Queen of the Jungle. I could not keep a straight face. I suppose I understand the title. Since my failed expedition, I have staked out a small swath of land to live on more permanently, and the locals know it as my pack's hunting ground. Still, I'm hardly a queen. My castle is little more than a shack. I'd rather be called a queen than a mercenary, though, so I may as well embrace it. I wonder what father would think of me now. Would he be proud of me when I march off to battle? I know he wanted a son. That's why he trained me in secret. Would he accept a beast queen instead? Mother wouldn't approve. The other villagers were too desperate to care about my gender when I joined the fight against the Turbans. But Mother never forgave me. She won't even look at me now. Should I mind? Those were Mei-Yin's parents, from Mei-Yin's life, and sometimes I wonder if that life was even real. Maybe I was always a beast, and never a woman. I have finally found a beast that I cannot command. No, to call him a beast is not enough. He is a demon. I was stalking a pair of giant raptors, waiting for an opportunity to bring them into my pack, when he tore through the tree line to steal their kill. He dwarfed even the giant raptors in size, and in fury, he surely has no equal in this world. When his foes bit at him, his eyes glowed with hatred, and he struck with renewed vigor. I have never seen such terror. Even I dare not challenge this creature. If I am the Beast Queen, then he is the Demon King. A woman named Helena arrived at my camp yesterday, though not to hire me. She said that she was a scholar studying the creatures on this island, and that she wanted to observe my beasts. I turned her away at first, not trusting her intentions. How could I? What mad fool would bother with scholarly pursuits in a place like this? Yet she persisted, and in time I was convinced of her honesty. I don't know if I made the right decision. Helena is constantly asking strange questions. Why does she need to know so much about my beast's feces and mating behavior? What a bizarre person. When Helena arrived, I was constantly glancing in her direction, wondering just what she was scribbling in that thick book of hers. Now I hardly notice her unless we're speaking. The questions haven't stopped, but thankfully they aren't always about things like animal feces. Sometimes we just talk about something simple, like cooking. Neither of us are very good at it, but together we've managed to make a few things that tasted better than plain meat. Yet before long, my territory will be silent once more. Helena says she has to move on, and war is brewing in the south. Someone will need my sword very soon. The war in the south is not an ordinary one. According to the member of the Painted Sharks that arrived to hire me, his tribe is fighting the new Legion. I admit that gave me pause. They were formidable before, and they've grown even stronger since we last met. Yet I have grown stronger too, and the Sharks were clearly in desperate straits. I could not turn them away. As I readied for war, I recalled a dream I had many months ago. I still don't believe in fate, but maybe this is my nature. On this island, maybe I can actually be like Lieutenant Guan. My beasts are precisely what the Sharks lacked. Most of their marital strength lies at sea. On land, they lack a unit with the ferocity of a true vanguard. Without that, they could merely withstand the Legion's siege, not break it. That changed when my beast crashed into the Legion's rear like a great wave. I could still hear the cheers as the Legion fled. I could feel the echo of the emotion that swelled in my chest. If I could return home, I imagine this is what it would feel like. I won't dare forget it. Sometimes I fear that I have grown fangs or horns without noticing. What else can explain the way the others look at me? In battle, the Sharks cheer me, but afterwards we rarely speak. I camp separately and only am summoned when it's time to discuss strategy. I do not understand. Trust is rare on this island, I know that. But have I not bled in their defense? Have my beasts not died fighting in their battles? Perhaps it's just a strain of war. We're in Legion territory now, taking the battle to them. Soon the war will be won. Surely then the Sharks will not fear me. When anger rises, think of the consequences. I know this by heart, yet I cannot help but seethe with fury. Even Wazui is keeping his distance. Last night, I awoke to the sound of thunder coming from the Sharks' main camp. I rushed to their aid, but blinded by the night and consumed with panic, they attacked my pack. By the time order was restored, we'd both sustained losses. Clearly this was the work of the enemy, but those fools blame me for the confusion. Some even claim I torched their camp. How dare they question my honor after all I've done? Cowards, they have no right. I should have foreseen this, though I put my pride aside. Those audacious Sharks could not. At their behest, I begin a long trek back to my own territory this morning. They say that they will finish the war without me. Doubtful. Without my pack at the van, the new Legion will surely smash them to pieces. But what could I do? I cannot protect them if they do not want my protection. Will the Legion come for me afterwards? I cannot say, but if they do, I know that I will receive no aid. I must rely on my own strength, and right now I fear it insufficient. I need to become stronger. I need the Demon King. He is mine. After a mighty struggle, the power of the Demon King is now mine to unleash. The cost was almost too great. I brought only my swiftest beast on the hunt, hoping to run him in circles, but even still he managed to kill many of them. Were it not for Wazui, he may have killed me as well. But my Wazui is both swift and cunning. He knew exactly what distance to maintain, exactly when to retreat. No steed could prove more useful. Tomorrow I must begin acclimating the Demon King to life in my pack, but for tonight, I will allow myself to celebrate. I was wise to test the Demon King's hunting skills from atop one of my flying beasts. When he stumbled down a small rock formation, his eyes glowed with that familiar hatred, and suddenly he proved deaf to my commands. In time, he calmed down and obeyed me once more, but it was a fearsome thing to watch. I think I will keep him apart from the other beasts. Not only will it keep them safe, but it will calm their nerves. They have been tense since his arrival. I cannot blame them. The Demon King's power could save or doom us. I must use him with extreme care. Am I making a mistake? Maybe. The closer that great pillar of light gets on the horizon, the more my concern grows. It is a gamble, no question. Helena said that she did not know if this pillar of light will behave like the other one. Yet if it does, if we are transported to some other plane to battle a monster for a mysterious key, then there's a chance that this could be the first step on the path home. If not, then leads the path away from this island and the new Legion. Technically, Helena has hired me, but that small chance is payment enough. It's worth the risk. I hope I am prepared. Had I let fear rule me and left the Demon King behind, then Helena and I would be dead. Only with his strength were we able to defeat the gigantic ape. His rage cost some of my pack their lives in the aftermath. But this was the price of victory. The price of hope. The key we were rewarded with matches the one Helena already had. That means the third pillar must lead to a third key. And when combined, what then? It's uncertain, but if each pillar takes us somewhere, then maybe their combined power can take us anywhere. Maybe it can take us home. Damn those new Legion cowards. At full strength, I could have fended them off, but they attacked just as we returned to the Pillar of Light. What beasts I had were exhausted, and the Demon King flew into a rage before I could start a retreat. What then happened? All hope was lost. The last thing I remember is a sharp pain in my side. When I awoke, I was alone with Wazui. Both of us were covered in blood, but Wazui's wounds were deeper. I cannot fathom how he carried me to safety in such a state. I must find a place to hide. Wazui and I are alone now, and barely clinging to hope. My dearest friend is gone. To his last, he was magnificent. The creatures that attacked us were larger, and with his wounds, they were even faster. But no beast could ever match Wazui in spirit. I buried him where he fell, saving me one last time. I was unworthy of such a loyal friend, but I will avenge him. His true murderers will pay. Not the beast, but the new Legion. They are responsible. I swear by the souls of my ancestors that I will find their leader and drive my blade into his heart. In Wazui's name, I will take his head. As I thought, the Legion was at the last Pillar of Light. I sighted them as they departed and have been following them since then. There are too many for me to fight head on. If they spot me, I will be killed. But I know how to hide from sight and mask my scent from their beasts. It did not take long to discern which one was the leader. No one else walks with his pride or gestures with his authority. I could probably have hit him with an arrow by now, but I want him to see my face. I want him to know that the Beast Queen vanquished him. I soon regretted freeing Helena from her cage before following the Legion through the portal they opened. She was too focused on the wonders around us. When she saw that most of the Legion was dead, she even tried to dissuade me from killing their leader. I knocked her unconscious. I wish her no harm, but I cannot let her interfere. At least she told me his name, Nerva. That is the man I will kill here, on this most fitting stage. I admit, it is beautiful. The stars shine so clearly. I could think of no better place for my vengeance. Here at the edge of heaven, let our battle finally be decided. I suspect Nerva knew that he would not fare well in battle. After taking a couple blows from my sword, he dashed off into the darkness. However, I know he was deeply wounded. His blood cannot lie. I suspect this command center was created by something with technology far beyond most normal comprehension. In the distance, I can see several worlds, one that is clearly a place I've been. I am now sure that there are more of these worlds. That scoundrel Nerva must have escaped before he could meet his death. Little does he know, I won't give up that easily. I will find him in whatever realm he travels to. There is a terminal that sits upon a platform near the end of the command center. Surely, through some combination of codes, that must unlock travel to other worlds. But it does not. It only adds another foe to be slain by the Beast Queen.